Live here on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Thanks for being with us today. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables, trucking the truth every day. Our Open America tour continuing. Join our Open America Facebook group. Join it today. We'd appreciate it. We have been all over the United States. I got a hit piece done on me by Media Matters yesterday, which means we're doing good things when the left bloggers come after your butt. Actually, I thought the article was pretty good, so we tweeted it out. It was a good piece, actually, but they're not happy with me. They said that I'm leading the charge to defy governor's orders and open up America. So they got that right. That's exactly what I'm doing, and we're here today in Spring Lake, New Jersey. I want to thank our great host, Tony Angelini Nagel, for making this available for us. Thank you, Tony. You're the best. We're at Starlight Cleaners here in Spring Lake, New Jersey, in Monmouth County. I think Monmouth County is the epicenter. It's the epicenter of the opposition for every place I've been to. I love Monmouth. I love my Monmouth County, man. I love this place. You guys are fighting back against your tyrannical governor. Very inspiring. Much more inspiring than I got in Cape May County for 2 days. I left there depressed that nobody would fight. Not so. 1 hour up the Garden State Parkway. Very different. Here, you guys are tough and you're fighting.
We have a lot to fight for here.
You got a lot to fight for, and I really appreciate that. I'll be in New York City on Monday, Wilmington, Delaware on Tuesday as our Open America tour continues. Don't forget, we're Facebook Live. You can go there. We tweeted out the link, or you can just go to Facebook, John Fredericks Show, Facebook Live are there every day. And thanks for being with us. Joining us now, Eileen, Kean. Doug Steinhardt is here. He's the chair of the New Jersey Republican Party. Hey, those of you listening in Virginia, New Jersey has a Republican Party. Like, they got like a chairman, and they got like people, they got an office, and wow, I wish we had one of those. Maybe Doug can help us. Maybe we could get a Republican Party of Virginia too. That would be so much fun, Doug. Maybe you just have to come down and show us how to do it, because we have no freaking idea how to have a Republican Party of Virginia. We don't have one, but Doug's got one. Also with us is Mike Jennings. He got a little slighted there in the last couple segments. Mike, real estate guru here in Spring Lake. And gentlemen, good to have you, Doug. I love my Monmouth County. These guys have fired me up.
You're in good country. Strong Republican group down here. Folks that take New Jersey seriously, that take their families and their businesses seriously. So you're in a good place. I'm happy to be down here joining everybody.
Let's get to Mike here. Mike Jennings, real estate guy.
Jensen. Come on.
Jensen.
Come on,
Jensen.
I thought we were friends. We met last night. We had,
I know, right? Mike
I served you
Jensen.
Diet Coke and a couple of waters.
But I called you a guru, though. I did have a Diet Coke last night. The WHO comes out today, and they say, just an hour ago, and they say masks are really unhealthy for healthy people. If you're healthy, don't wear a mask, they say, because it's not good for you, like I've been saying for a month, right? Then they say the only time you should have a mask on is when you're around people that you're taking care of that have the coronavirus, which is the exact opposite of what we're hearing in America. Dr. Fauci, I call him Dr. Falsey. Dr. Falsey, a month ago says no masks. Now he says you have to wear masks. He says you can't shake hands, but he says you can go on, what's it called, Twindle or something, one of those apps, and you can have sex with strangers that you just
way
met.
Too early for
well,
that.
I'm just saying, that's what the guy said. I'm just repeating what he said. So you can't shake hands, but you can go to a sex on demand app, and you can have masks, but now you can have masks. But now the WHO says what I've been saying for 60 days, which is masks shouldn't be worn by healthy people. Mike, what do you think of this guy?
I didn't realize who he was until Trump took him out, put him on the podium. I don't think Trump knew how bad this guy was. He's been around a long time, and I think he's the biggest problem. He's the biggest part of the deep state. I think there was a clip 15 years ago how he was cheering on how great hydroxychloroquine was and how much of a miracle drug it is, and then now it's not. It's disturbing. Getting back to the mask thing, a lot of clinicians who I know talk about breathing bad air. You have a mask on and you're breathing your own bad air. That's not good.
No, it's unhealthy.
Of course it is. We were walking on the beach early on in this thing, my buddy Jim Hickey and myself, and we were walking on the beach, and we saw this lady who was masked up, and she started kind of walking towards us and started yelling at us that we didn't have masks on the beach, walking about 6 in the morning. And it was bizarre. She was part of that she was coming out to, be the police, be the mask police. It's really it's out of control.
So you guys were walking on the beach without masks, right? Minding your own business, and she comes down, and she's harassing you basically to put a mask on.
Absolutely.
And are the authority of just she thinks you're spreading a virus or something?
Who knows?
Who knows?
She's listening way too much to the, CNN, CNBC. It's the propaganda, the propaganda that they're spewing.
Was she under 85 years
She
old?
was probably 65.
Okay, so her chances of dying from the coronavirus on the beach from yourself and your buddy there, Hickey, was about the same as getting hit by an Amtrak train in Cape May, which is because there are no Amtrak trains in Cape May. Okay, I want to share some numbers with you. I've got Den from Chesapeake chomping at the bit. He's got some new numbers from the CDC to share. Den, you're on the line. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, John. I sent you a link with the pictures worth 1,000 words. I happen to be looking at the CDC, and that's official as official can get. And there's a chart that I want you to share with your panel that is a link there. It just brings up the picture, and it shows the death rates by age, by week across there by the CDC. Now, the bottom line, you're going to see that the peak death rates occurred from the CDC at every age level around April 11th to April 18th. Okay, you'll see that picture there. But most importantly, you're going to see on that picture that those death rates are approaching zero. And that says it all, okay? And they're probably approaching zero because we know that the information that's been provided by the health authorities says that when it gets warm, the humidity's down, and the sun is up, the CV-19 virus doesn't do well. So look at that picture, share that picture, have your people share that with their authorities, because it says it all. Right now, there's nothing going on with death rates at any age level with CV-19.
Well, and of the 100,000 people that died, 50% of them are over 75. And all of a sudden, by the way, nobody's dying anymore from the flu, which is amazing. 60,000 people died from that last year. Now no one is doing that. All right, Doug, Den, thanks.
Be sure to show the
I
picture.
appreciate it.
Show them the picture. It says
Thank you.
everything right there.
Thanks, Den. All right, thank you, sir. I want to get to Doug again. Doug, you were on my show the other day. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate the fact that you've driven an hour and a half to be here in Monmouth County. You've got a lawsuit against the governor. We touched on it yesterday on the phone.
Yes, sir.
Similar to Wisconsin, but not exactly the same. Can you explain what it is?
Yeah, look, I think no one who wants to work, who's willing and able to work, should be told by their government that they can't. Phil Murphy has made it clear that he has one set of rules for himself and another set of rules for everybody else, and doesn't share with you what they are. And the minute you figure it out, he changes them. Mm-hmm. So for weeks, it was flatten the curve. Then it became, we'll reopen the economy when we find a vaccine. We don't know if or when that will ever happen. So for all of those reasons, and the fact that the governor has essentially created classes of employers and employees in New Jersey, by designating essential and non-essential, essentially picking winners and losers. Tony Marie can certainly speak to that. But anytime I think the government gets in the practice of picking winners and losers, you turn private property rights into a privilege. It's now become a privilege to be able to go out and earn a living solely by virtue of where you live, who you work for, what you do, and what the government says you can. So we banded together with a bunch of property owners, barbers up north, bar owners down south, horse trainers. The number of phone calls and messages that we've gotten since we filed this lawsuit last Thursday wasn't surprising. It's just startling, some of the stories. I spent a half hour on the phone with a single mom just a couple of days ago who was crying that, she got 3 children. She doesn't have rent money left. She's been getting groceries from neighbors. She can't go to work. She can't feed her family. And she's not alone. There are 1.1 million people in New Jersey right now who are unemployed. And Governor Murphy's response to all of them has been that our interventions to him don't matter. The Bill of Rights is above his pay grade. If you don't like his decisions, his staffing choices, his lack of plan or progress, move to another state. Look,
these are all things that he has
said.
said.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
move
like
to another state.
Move to another
the
state.
chairman is not, paraphrasing.
No,
here.
look, I think we want leaders. We want leaders who have a heart, not that are cold-hearted. Telling someone that if you don't like their leadership or you don't agree with what they're doing, if you don't like it, to move, is not a kind-hearted way of approaching that position. I think the governor has, from the very beginning, it's fiscal mismanagement for the first couple of years, and since this COVID crisis has started, it's just been a pattern of weak leadership and poor judgment that's gotten us to today. But as I said, when you start creating classes of employers, employees, I think you start denying people of their equal protection under the law. That's the basis of the lawsuit that we filed. We are in the process of having it removed to the appellate division, which will expedite things, gets us out of the trial court, gets us to a place where we can get a quick hearing. We're looking to consolidate with some of the other lawsuits around the state and take Governor Murphy to task. Look, I am realistic, though. We are in a state where all 3 branches of government are controlled by Democrats. I'm not holding out a lot of hope that we will convince a Democratic-led judiciary that we're right either. But I will say this, we're going to be loud. We're not going to back down. My mom and dad taught me from the time I was a little kid that how hard you work and how you treat other people are the 2 life qualities that you control, that control how far in life you go. So, we're going to be a champion for the men and women that can't support their families, that can't pay their mortgages or their tuition payments or put food on the table. And if Governor Murphy's going to lay down, we're going to get out and fight for them.
Doug, 2021, are you going to consider running for the Republican nomination for governor of New Jersey?
Yeah, right now, it's a lot on my plate just to fight for the families in New Jersey that are struggling. That's what I signed up to do, and that's what we've been doing up to this point. There's a lot of runway left ahead of us to do that job and to do it right. Again, not to quote mom and dad, but they also raised me to believe that if you do a good job at something, it creates opportunities, and if you don't, it forecloses them. So look, I'm going to continue to work as hard as I can, but I want to stay focused on the things that I think really matter right now, and that's not me. That's the 1.1 million New Jerseyans that are still unemployed. That's people like Tony and her husband that can't open their shop and make a living themselves, and that's making sure that we put our best foot forward going into the November election cycle and elect some Republicans to send to Washington to give President Trump a majority again. So, those are the things that are on my plate today. I think that's enough to keep anybody busy, and I'll
So
worry
what you're
about
saying
what's
is,
next
what
later.
you're saying is you're not going to rule out a 2021 run for governor.
I'm going to stand by the answer I gave you, and continue to work as hard as I can to make sure that I'm doing a good job
Doug
here.
He's fighting the
Steinhardt,
good fight.
not ruling out a run for governor. I'm sure there'll be a lot of candidates. Whoever it is, it's got to be a fighter, because I think those that are on the front lines now fighting this, I believe, Doug, there is going to be a political reckoning. It is coming. I can feel it. I can sense it. I see it from my callers, from the responses I have. I think people are really pissed off, and there's a lot of these voters that I think it was one of the assemblymen saying, well, we get 33% turnout in New Jersey.
Assemblyman Schaffenberger, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen in 2020, and I don't think it's going to happen in 2021. I think people have had it with this.
Hey, you are absolutely right. My college football coach always said on opening day of every football season, and I played for 4 years, was give me 11 teammates that I can walk down a dark alley with. And those are the 11 teammates that'll play football for me. So I'll take all 120 of you, but I need 11. I need 11 players that want to go out every Saturday and win. And I think that over the last 2.5 years, that's what we've been trying to build. It's a bench of Republicans that are tired of losing. Politics is not like the third grade. You don't get a trophy for showing up or trying. If you don't win, you don't get to govern. And you've seen what 30-some years of Democratic-led legislature is capable of, what the last 2.5 months with a Democrat in the governor's office is capable of. So, if we want to change New Jersey, you want to change its culture, you roll up your sleeves, you get down in the dirt, and you fight and you win. That's who I am. That's what I do. That's the kind of organization that we're trying to build here in New Jersey. And I think for the last 2.5 years, successfully so, that's what will carry us through November, and that's what will make Phil Murphy a one-term governor.
Hashtag Steinhardt for governor.
Love it. Nice
What do you
job.
think? What do you think, Mike?
Love it. Ted, where'd you play ball?
Doug.
I played
What's up?
football at Gettysburg College.
Awesome.
Yeah, loved it there. You look like you played a little football yourself, though, Mike.
Yep, up at the University of Rhode Island.
Oh, awesome.
Yep, from
stuff.
Staten Island, New York. Played at Tottenham High School.
Where'd you play? Position?
Left tackle.
I was a left guard.
Okay.
In my younger, much better shape days.
Well, that was. We can all say that about everything. I was telling Doug the story about. I played baseball for Fairleigh Dickinson, and so two times I think annually we'd play Monmouth, right, home and away. I think we were in the Colonial Conference. This is a long time ago, Doug, so I don't really remember. But I think we were in we played Drexel and Philadelphia. Then we played non-conference games like Lehigh and Lafayette, somewhere in Pennsylvania. But one guy said, one Monmouth game I closed and one at home. One I was on the road, and I had a two-run lead in the bottom of the ninth, and I hung a forkball, and the guy hit like a 400-foot homer of me, won the game. So I do remember that about Monmouth. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Tony, I want you to weigh in here. I'm feeling that like Monmouth County is almost it's the epicenter of the entire resistance that I found.
I told
Why
you
is that?
you would not
and
be
you did tell me
disappointed.
that.
I called it. So
You did.
I'm going to take some public credit for that.
And you told me that Cape Mayors would be lame.
I won't confirm or deny that I said that, but there's a lot here in Monmouth County. We have a strong group of people who have lived here their entire lives. We've got the shore, we've got great restaurants. I mean, there is something to be said for this county in New Jersey, and there's a lot to fight for here. And the one thing that I've found here, having lived here since I was 4 years old, there's no complacency here. And I think that when elected officials get complacent and they sort of roll over and accept their fates, then nobody wins. And that's what we're seeing right now.
Now, you were a councilwoman in Matawan.
I was.
So why don't you run for council here in Spring Lake? Why don't you get back in the fray?
I think
Get off the sidelines.
We're in good shape in Spring Lake. I did the municipal thing. I can't say that I enjoyed it, but I did it, and I'm happy for the experience. But that's definitely not something that's on my radar.
Doug?
If I can, Tony makes a really good point. And look, I want to say, aside from not giving people a set of rules by which, and I say people, I mean business owners, a set of rules by which they can then operate. It defies logic to me that you can't apparently catch COVID standing in line at Walmart, but you can if you want to go sit in a pew at church. Exactly. And you can put 6 people in a car and ride around the neighborhood, but you can't drive to the beach and sit on a beach with your family or your friends. You can't buy a towel and sunscreen from a mom and pop store on the boardwalk, but you can walk 2 blocks inland and buy it at Rite Aid. The other problem that I think that we have, and of the many of the governor's failures in addressing the COVID crisis, is his decision to paint New Jersey with this broad brush and treat the entire state equally. And I'm not looking to say that we need to. It's a question of discriminating against counties. It's a question of deploying resources and assets better. If there are areas of the state opened sooner by virtue of having lower numbers or because they were less densely populated, that would have allowed the state to shift resources to other places that might need it for unemployment purposes or for healthcare purposes, we could have handled this thing much differently, got sections of the community open a lot sooner, and been able to alleviate some of the hardship that so many in New Jersey are facing right now. Couple that with the fact that the governor has, and intentionally so, in my opinion, slow walked out reopening the economy because his base is 400,000 public sector workers, and because he refuses to cut into his base, he has yet to pass off any of the burden of carrying the financial crunch of this COVID crisis off to the public sector. It's private sector businesses like Tony and her husband that are closed. It's their employees that are out of work. Yet we haven't seen a single public sector cut, layoff, furlough, or anything else to kind of to pass some of that economic burden onto the public sector. It's one of the laundry list of the governor's failures to this point, and I think one of the ones that need to be addressed most quickly. But the decision to paint the state with a broad brush is just a general failure on the governor's part to lead sensibly.
Hashtag Steinhardt for governor. John Fredericks Radio Network. We're live in Spring Lake, Monmouth County, New Jersey. This is now, I'm branding this ground zero of the resistance.